Hey everyone, welcome to Cross the Ditch and See. My name is Laura and I'm so glad you're here today. I'm going to take you for a walk in the garden. We are going to start cutting our sweet peas. The sweet pea vines, they're dying off, and the green beans have sprouted, or the pole beans that I planted in our garden. Alright, so the sugar pea vines are starting to die in the heat. I'm going to leave a few of them up so the pods, like right here, the pods can finish drying out, and I can save those pods for seed for later on this season. I'm going to replant these in the fall because they like cooler weather, so that way we'll have sugar peas again. But what I do, instead of pulling the vines out of the ground, I just come to the base of the plant and just cut the vines at soil level. That way the roots and stuff can just kind of break down and add organic matter back to the soil. And then the beans that we planted in the rain the other day have sprouted, so now they'll have plenty of room to grow. They won't be competing with the sugar peas for nutrients, and they can start going up the vine as well. So that is what I'm doing out in the garden. And I'm also going to go out and trellis up the tomatoes again. Trellising tomatoes is a continual process throughout the garden season as those tomatoes grow. And we had a pretty bad storm come through last night, and it actually knocked down my tomatoes that were in the front yard. Actually blew them over, so I had some damage to them. So this morning I went out and sat them up and tried to salvage as much of the tomato plant as I possibly could. A couple of them, the main stem broke off, so I know those plants are done for. But a couple of them, like some of the branches broke off of, or like a secondary stem broke off where I didn't prune a sucker and it grew a secondary stem. So I'm just gonna leave those and see how they grow. But I'll take you with me when we get ready to do that. But just coming through, cutting the sugar peas right there at the dirt line. And what I do, once I'm done cutting these sugar peas, what we'll do, we'll let the vines dry up because they're not getting water anymore. We'll let them dry up, and then once they have dried up, then it'll be easy just to come pull them off the fencing panel. And by that point, these guys will probably have reached, the little green beans, or the pole beans that are growing in, will probably have reached the fencing panel, because it'll only take a few days. And they'll be ready to start trellising up. Oh, I already cut these. But yep, that's what we'll be doing out here for the next little bit. So right here I have one of my tomatoes that I am going to have grow up one of my arches, my cattle panel arches, and I have it tied off right here, but obviously it's gotten much taller. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prune these lower branches off. I have a sucker, I don't know if you can see it, should I angle you up a little bit? I can't see the camera, what's being shown on the screen because of the sunshine right now. But right here, there is a sucker, rather a large sucker. And if you remember in my tip of the day video about pruning suckers off, this will keep extra main branches from forming. But because this is going to be growing up my cattle panel arch, I do not mind that it throws off a bunch of suckers. I want this tomato to get as big as it possibly can. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to prune off this big branch right below it, but leave my sucker in place because this branch overhangs the dirt pretty well, and I don't want any water splashing up causing any type of disease. But everything else I'm going to leave. I'm just going to kind of bend it. Try to angle you up just a little bit. I'm just going to kind of bend it and gently feed it feed one of the branches through one of the cutouts in the arch. Let's see if I can show you. I just fed it through kind of right here. That way, it'll tie to that arch really well, and it'll kind of start feeding through it. So now all I'm going to do is take a little bit of my string, not much, but just a little bit, and come right up here to this main stem and just loosely tie it to this panel. Actually, I think I'm going to kind of pull it this way a little. That way I can get it coming up the side over here. Kind of at an angle. That way it will keep growing upwards. So let me flip the camera around and show you. So there's where I tied it off the first time about a week or so ago. And ooh, it's thundering. Here I just pulled it gently to the side. That way I can kind of guide it up the arch right here. This little guy was just a little bit taller than this a little over a week ago. And you see how much it has grown. So I'm gonna let this climb up one of my arches. I have some cucumbers planted here also, but I'm gonna let this climb up my arch and just see. I've never done tomatoes on arches. I have 2 more right here. This is an Abe Lincoln, I believe. So I've already pruned it. I'm gonna prune the other one and tie it off, and then I'm gonna go tie off as many of my tomatoes as I can before that storm gets here. Before I go do the rest of the tomatoes, I wanted to show you cucumber. Got some powdery mildew going on. I'll show you in a video soon how I work to fight the powdery mildew. But we have a cucumber growing. We have several, but that's our biggest one, and I'm excited. Also wanted to show you guys this. Pulled off the last few sugar peas before I cut the vines, and pulled a few more carrots. So got a little harvest. Yesterday we harvested a few tomatoes, and we harvested, I couldn't wait. Ouch, tree branch got me. Yesterday I couldn't wait, and I ended up harvesting some potatoes as well. When I do my big potato harvest, I'll share it with you. But I just had to dig down into the dirt and see what was there. So we got a few potatoes, and I was super excited about that. It's a really bad storm moving in. So I'm gonna try to get these tomatoes, finished trellising them. So with the storm that came through last night, we had so much rain so fast that it flooded out like where our shrubs and stuff are, and washed a lot of the pine bark down the driveway. It caused these guys to float, and then the bad wind that we had coming through blew everything over. So you can see, like right here, where a lot of my branches are like bent over. Let's see, this one right here actually got snapped off, but it has a little leaf right there. I'm gonna leave it, just see what it does, give it a chance. I'm not gonna give up on it yet. But everything was laying on its side last night, so I'm gonna try to get these trellis back up in there, and I'm gonna pull the bigger tomatoes off of the broken branches and set them inside and see if they'll ripen up, because I don't want to lose those. But yeah, we're gonna see if we can get these trellised up. Then we'll figure out a way maybe to like anchor them so future storms come through, maybe it won't cause them to blow over. So I have all of these tied up. It's not pretty. I found a lot more broken branches while tying, so I tossed those to the side, did a little bit of pruning, but hopefully these guys won't get blown down in the storm that is headed this way. And just in case anyone has a question, when I talked about the tomatoes that were on the branch that broke, these larger ones, I'm gonna take these in, set them on the windowsill, and see if they will redden up. A lot of times if you pick a green tomato, or maybe a tomato that's getting ready to turn red but it's not quite there, if you will set it like on a windowsill or just set it inside, a lot of times they'll redden up, they'll ripen up for you. So that's what I'm going to do with these. I do want to show you one more thing before going in. Our raspberries. Ooh, leaves are getting in the way. Raspberries are starting to ripen up. Excited about that. All right. Storm's about here. Thunder's getting louder. I need to go inside. We've had a pretty significant temperature drop, so I know storm's getting ready to get ugly. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you come back to see me again, and I hope you have a blessed day.